Welcome to London, England in November of 2023. Hey everyone, I'm Patrick from Oakland Travel, a 9-day vacation to London. And here in the video, it's day 5, I think, second half of day 5. Getting ready to do a pub tour, which kind of something interesting. We were doing our research ahead of time before the vacation, trying to figure out the best way to maximize our time over there. And, London is famous for its pubs. And so doing a pub tour kind of seemed like a pretty cool idea. And so that's what we're doing here. Second half of the day. The video that we released in June of 2025 was sort of the first half of day 5. And so this is part 2. And there are going to be times in the video where it'll be a little hard to hear our guide. That's the lady right there in the center of the screen, kind of with the red hair. I did my best to try to get close to her, but the camera that I was using at the time, and there's a lot of just background noise sometimes and wind noise and things like that. And this is a walking tour. It was several hours long, and there were certain parts of the tour where she would stop in certain places and kind of go through some history. And so there are a couple of places in the video where we kind of stop for a second and let her kind of tell you about some history. And then for each of the 4, 5, at least 4, maybe 5 pubs that we stopped in, I tried to include as much of the footage as we recorded in order to give you an idea of kind of the pubs, what it was like inside the pubs and everything. London itself is absolutely amazing. This was our first time to London, and I would absolutely love to go back. If you've never been to London, you should definitely consider it because it's an amazing city. If you have been to London before, then you might, this might make you want to go back. So it's a pretty in-depth look at the pubs, some of the pubs in London. Again, this is a pub tour, and so she took us to some of the more famous places. And if you watch all the way through the video and you see each of the pubs, you'll notice how different they are from each other. And feel free to jump around. This is almost an hour long. It's a pretty in-depth look at the pubs, the walking tour. So there are some pretty cool parts of London, too, that we cover as we're walking from pub to pub. And right here, she's explaining the city of London, as opposed to the sort of the surrounding area that is technically not the city of London, using this map right here. And a couple of the pubs that we go to will get very close to this line between what is technically like the city of London versus like the city of Westminster, and so on and so on. So some pretty cool pubs in this tour, and again, almost an hour long, so feel free to jump around. We go through quite a bit of detail in here, and we record a ton of footage whenever we go on these vacations, and we try to give you the most in-depth look that we can in terms of like where we're going and what we're doing, in this case being the pub crawl. So hope you enjoy it. This is the second half of day 5, recorded in November of 2023.
The cost of living crisis and everything. Very tough time for hospitality. Just in 2021 alone, 150 pubs closed within the city of London itself, within a small square mile. So I'd like to say what we're doing today is we're not just learning a bit of history and enjoying ourselves, hopefully, but we're also single-handedly saving the pub industry. Since I lived in London, I've lived in London now for about 5 years, and I made it my mission to try and visit every single pub in London. I haven't done that. Obviously, COVID got in the way of that a little bit, but I visited about 500 of those. So you're going to help me. We're only going to get through 4 today, but I always say it's up to you guys how fast you can drink, how many of the other 3,406 pubs you can get through. It's all up to you. So I think we better get started. So if you follow me, we're going to go up here and turn left.
How fast you can drink.
Like I say, it's usually the delivery hall, so it's the architects.
Oh, right, okay.
So they'll have their own events in there. They also hire it for, you can have weddings in there.
Oh, you can?
No, well, I mean, very small. But you can hire it commercially.
It's just rooms?
It's tiny.
Nothing like a bar or...
No,
just a room?
it's a table, chandelier.
Yeah,
that's
chandelier,
it.
yeah.
A few artworks. Yeah, you wouldn't really be able to see. I mean, you've got rooms, as you can see, they've got rooms either side. Have some big room and use that as a small breakout.
Traditional family-run pub.
Okay, we're at our first pub. So a little bit before I let you go in. So as you can see, it's a beautiful example of a corner pub, really, really stunning building. And we're quite a fan of our corner pubs in London. The reason why there are so many of them, or the thinking behind them, was that if you were a property developer and you own some land and you'd sell it off for speculative development, this particularly obviously happened in the 19th century, the first thing you would do is if you were to commission, hire some builders to build a series of streets, the first thing you would get them to do is build a pub. The reason for that was that they had somewhere to then stay and live, and somewhere to drink and keep them happy. And the benefit to the landowner was, of course, that they would get all the profits, so that you'd basically pay the builders at the end of the week. They go straight in on a Friday night and put the money back behind the bar. So everyone is happy, basically. And this practice, even Christopher Wren himself, and here we go, got the St Paul's bells starting right on cue there. Christopher Wren himself did this quite a lot, and there are still a number of pubs, a couple of pubs standing around the city, not the original buildings, but the site of places that were built by Christopher Wren's own workers while building St Paul's, for instance. This is not one of them, but it's a good example of a corner pub, that's why we have them. The other advantage of them, apparently, and this is a slightly sort of unofficial, perhaps slightly non-PC reason, is that if you are, and bearing in mind this is going back to the days where going into pubs is very, very male dominated, so if you were standing in a pub having a drink, and you told your wife you were just going out to walk the dog, and you were not going into the pub, and someone else saw her walking very angrily up this road, you could dodge quickly out of that door and go around the corner. So there's basically two exits and two entrances in, and it has its benefits, basically. So this particular pub, as you can see, it's got courage above the door, and that's not to give you to make you feel brave about going in. I'm sure not everybody's encouragement to go into a pub, but it relates to the Courage Brewery, which is still going today, and it was established in the 1700s. John Courage, and the symbol of the brewery was this cockerel sign that you can see, the red sign over there. But that's got nothing to do with why it is called the cockpit. The reason why it's called the cockpit is because it was one of London's premier places to go and see cockfighting, which was one of the many bloody, violent sports that London has liked in centuries past, including things like bear baiting, dog fighting, and even importing exotic creatures like leopards, tigers, and getting them to fight dogs. Wow. You name it, in those days, if you could get an animal to fight another animal, that they would do it. Obviously, very kind of cruel and bloodthirsty to our eyes now. Cockfighting was a kind of a lower key way of, rather than getting your lions and your tigers, you get a couple of cockers to fight to the death in a pit. And if you wanted to make it extra violent and bloody, you would strap blades to their feet so that they could inflict maximum damage on each other. All very, very nasty. And the owners and the spectators would be up on a gallery watching this action go on. The losing owner would be at the end of the fight winched down into the pit with all the blood and the feathers in a bucket and pelted with rotten fruit and vegetables, you name it. And that was your typical night out in London a couple of centuries ago. So as you can see, it's not like that in there now, don't worry. So yeah, it's good or bad, I don't know. When you walk in, you will see that we're actually going to be drinking where the pit would have been. And if you look up, they've actually reconstructed a bit of a gallery. This is a reconstruction, it's not original. But you can see a bit of the gallery, so you'll get a sense of that when we're in there. This is a really good example of what I would call a London backstreet boozer. As you can see, it's hidden away. You really have to know this place exists to come here. It's also one of the few pubs in the city of London that's open 7 days a week, because a lot of pubs in the city, because we rely so much on workers who aren't here at the weekend, don't open. So this is always here. It's very much a locals pub. Staff know everybody. Quite old-fashioned. I really like it. I think it's a really lovely one to start with. So we're going to go in there and have our first drink. And in terms of, as we go through the tour today, obviously always, feel free to ask me if you want any drinks recommendations. But I'll be completely honest. I will be my mission in life is to get everybody to try, if they haven't yet, to try real ale or cask ale, which is my personal favourite. And that's, if you haven't tried it before, particularly if you're visiting England, it really is a kind of the USP of the British drink. It's completely naturally made beer. There's no artificial carbonation. It's just left to undergo secondary fermentation in the barrel, and it's served through gravity, through hand pull. So it's not served with any carbonation. It's not artificially chilled. And I think it's very good for you personally, but I'm not a doctor. So they sell a couple in here. One of my favourite recommendation in here, if you'd like to try this, is a pale ale called Proper Job, which is nice and crisp and pale. That's a nice one to start with if you haven't tried it before. But lots of other drinks to try. So let's go in and enjoy. And we'll have about 25 minutes in here. So if we're ready to leave by 3, and if we can leave out of, rather than this door, if we can leave out the side door, because we're going to be going up this passageway later on. And also, throughout the day, feel free to ask me to take any pictures of you. Like, for instance, this is a popular spot for little group photos. So just give me a shout if you want any pictures. That's great.
Soiled clothing and dirty boots.
I figure we need to wait a good spot. So instead of another one on the bus.
No, you've had one already.
Yeah. And move on, and move on, and move on. No, I'm gonna.
You're with her.
Yeah.
You don't want to flush it.
Yeah. Because she said
It was Jordan.
Are you getting that?
Yeah. Do that.
I see. I completely forgot it was coming. Oh, because I meant to.
It's only 2%. I'll keep that. I need it.
Okay, lovely. So I always do
Out the side.
I know we're not listening. But just two there, two. Missing two. They're in the pit.
I know who it is. Shall I see if they're in there? Yeah.
Time to go. Oh.
I've never lost two people.
I don't know what sort of tour this is, but you know, I lose people.
Big music house. That weather.
Sorry, not real. Sorry about that. But we're standing outside Apothecaries Hall, as you can see, and this is the oldest surviving livery hall. So I mentioned livery companies earlier when we talked about Temple Bar and the Worshipful Company of Architects, who bought it back for the City of London. But livery companies go back to at least the medieval times, some of them claim to go back to Viking times, and they are basically trades of craft guilds and trade guilds of people who are doing the same trade, clubbing together to help each other, basically mutual support, a bit of networking, as you can imagine, and to make sure that people who are not qualified to practice weren't taking the trade away. They became extraordinarily powerful, and obviously this all goes back to the idea of the City of London being a place where its commerce and making money has always been its purpose. So these trade guilds basically ran the city, and they're still very kind of influential today. So the apothecaries are basically what we would now call chemists or pharmacists. They would make and dispense drugs. They were doing that here until 1922, as late as that, and they supplied drugs to the army, or you name it. So they were very important. Nowadays, their main focus, they do training here, and they train in history of medicine as well. But they're primarily networking.
Whitefriars Lane. Worthington Ales on draft.
Right, so this pub is I know it's familiar to at least some of you. In fact, I can't remember who was here earlier today. We started off here already. They were scouting it out for us. Very, very good. So we are standing outside the Blackfriar. Obviously, I won't need to explain to you why it's called the Blackfriar. This pub dates from the 1870s, and as you can see, it would have been a corner pub in exactly the same way, but it's not anymore. The reason for that, sorry, I've got my cough. The reason for that, as you can see, is the train line.
Pie Perfections.
It's totally over the top. So although it dates from the 1870s, this decoration you can see now dates from 1905. So this is the height of kind of Art Nouveau period, arts and crafts, where you've got, it's about floral decoration, very playful, this is very obvious fascination. When they had the refurbishment in 1905, they gave the brief they gave to the architect was basically just to commemorate the Blackfriars monastery in some way. So he decided to do that in a very fantastical way. You can see they've got a very romanticised view of the monks, the life of the monks, and celebrating the collection of beer, as I've already mentioned. So you've got this lovely frieze here of the monks sitting on a barrel of beer, taps on the beer's running away, one of his friends blowing his goods when he's in. As you do. You've got the lovely Jolly Friar on the front. This is actually the newest edition of the pub made in the 1970s or 80s, so it's not original to the pub, but it's hard to imagine the pub without it. It's such an iconic part of the building. The other things to bear in mind here is the fact that the architect hired one of the top sculptors of the day, Henry Thorpe, who was a Royal Academy sculptor, to design the inside of some of the abstract decoration itself. That's equivalent to hiring one of the top artists today to decorate a pub for you, which just wouldn't happen again. So when you go inside, you'll see no expenses spared in this pub. There are 50 different types of marble used inside. There's mother of pearl, there's gold tiles, there's stained glass windows, you name it. There's all kinds of little details, like the idea is that the monks above the bar, when you order your drinks, if you look up you'll see it says there's a frieze of some monks fishing with "Tomorrow shall be Friday" as the motto, meaning there's a reference to Friday being a fasting day in the Catholic Church and the monks eating fish instead of meat. And then in the restaurant area before Saturday, so you've got the monks drinking, eating, whatever they like, the fasting's over, falling asleep, fairies dancing around their faces. You've got Humpty Dumpty, you've got, you know, all kind of nursery rhymes going on in there. It's crazy. The other thing I want to point out before we go in is the fact that this saloon bar here, so this big saloon bar pointing to this area, we're actually going to be ordering our drinks in the saloon bar itself. But when you go in, if you look to your right, going this way, if you look to your right, this area here, this would have been the public bar. And that's when you see the hopefully they're going, I don't know if they're going to the public bar. Oh, hello. 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 Surprise. That's special. Wow, it's going to be a bit busy. I'll let them get their drinks first. So the saloon bar would have been where all the kind of upper class people would have drank. This is a very segregated, Victorian times particularly, very segregated society, and that stretched down to the pubs as well. So the idea was that this public bar here was where your working class people, and these would have been, you know, almost entirely men, working class men would have come in, and they would have had the drink. This is probably the busiest I've seen it on a Sunday. Oh, wow. Yeah. They knew we were coming. Yeah.
Wow.
Busier than expected.
So we always have the weekend before Remembrance Weekend. There's always some on.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Crisps. Oh my God, that's so good.
Chili puffs, smoky chili nuts or pistachio. £6 fire that side, please. Just like.
This is his, that's one of them.
Where did
Salmon and dill.
Oh my God,
That's what I had.
oh yeah.
Well, some of them, I think they're back over. Kind of scattered around back from there.
I don't see Claire, but I see other people from our group.
That's the beer. Open up the beer.
Yes, it blows.
It's a nice This is one of the nice spots, even when a very busy part of London, you can always find it. So this is St Bride's Church, obviously named St Bride is now. And
Lugden's original Irish pub. Heck, duck fudge. Oh wow.
it was a shot. You don't always get a chance to just relax.
Okay, this is different.
So it's near the practice. Yeah, this is a memorable name. And Charles Dickens visited there with the disciple there. Oh, really? And it was still a bright rock. Right, got it on. So I've led you down this. So if you can see here, 1848 Fleet Street. This building here is a site of 186 Fleet Street, and any horror or crime in France among you may recognise that address as the address of Sweeney Todd, Demon and Barber of Fleet Street. So for anyone who hasn't heard, there's a big sort of figure of melodrama, there's been musicals, there's a film with Helena Bonham Carter. That's not allowed. Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton a few years ago, well, quite a long time ago now. So the story goes, and obviously this is going back to the time where barbers didn't just cut your hair, they were basically they were allowed to practice minor medical procedures. So they were allowed to extract your teeth, you would go to take the teeth pulled out, obviously before any aesthetics or anything like that. You'd have maybe a swig of brandy before you went in. Get your teeth pulled out, they would bleed you. Obviously a lot of the your go-to medical procedure if you went well was to just bleed you and request. So they were allowed to do bloodletting.
That's an interesting looking building. Chancellery.
Now their cellar where the beer is stored now, the crown jewels were kept there during the First World War to keep them safe. And you can see why it's obviously a bank, not a pub. It's built to look like a fortress, impenetrable, really hard to break into. So it looks very strong, it's got very high windows for security, but also it's decorated. You'll see the decoration when we go inside. It's decorated to impress. Obviously it's been refurbished as a pub, but it kept a lot of the grandeur. The idea was it looked like a palace. If you were going to put your money with this bank, they wanted to look like they could look after it for you, and they were opulent, so chandeliers, blue and gold, very palatial, very different to our first pub particularly. So this is run, that's been a pub since 1994, and it's run by McMullins, which are a family-based brewery in Hertfordshire, north of London. So when you go in there, your Cascales will be using the mild or bitter they've usually got on, which are lighter, not very much alcohol, but slightly darker beers and the pale ales. And there's lots of other things to choose from, lots of good lagers as well. So let's go in here and let's up till 5 o'clock. Restrooms upstairs and right.
Thank you.
What are you getting?
Try this Rivertown IPA.
It's very, hang on, it's really bad. Let me try that. Oh, there's a glass over it. That probably means they don't it's out.
Yeah, that means that they're out.
AK country.
The country looks lighter. Let me get the country.
Right. Probably had that too many cooks spoiled broth.
Oh no!
Would you like? What would you like with your vodka?
A light tonic, please. Probably a busted brew.
Who's waiting?
Go.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess half pint country. Yes. And
Half pint of the
It's a double.
Cheers. See it? All done. Throw it down the ladder. Yucky done, yeah. Well, I'm not actually a Welsh speaker, so
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Where's she pouring wine?
Yeah, I think it's right here. Excuse me. Sorry. This is yours.
15 minutes.
Yeah, made it. Oh, that's just
It's like this one disappeared. All right, heading to the last stop on the pub tour.
When they built the Royal Courts of Justice, which are here, they built these in 1880. 1878, they dismantled Temple Bar and put it into storage, and they built this memorial here to just basically mark where it was. But this actually marks the boundary between, so the City of London ends here, we're right on the edge of it. We're going to finish off in the City of Westminster, which is through here. So the dragon on top is one of the symbols of London, the City of London, sorry, one of the guardian spirits of the city. Very fittingly a fire-breathing creature when you think of all the great fires that happened. Prince of Wales, or Edward VII, as he later became, you can see tucked away here. The other side, which you can't see, is Queen Victoria. And as I mentioned, she was the last monarch to pass under Temple Bar, like we did earlier on. In this direction, very difficult, unfortunately, like I say, 2 weeks ago when I left Victoria, it was quite sunshine, but otherwise, not anymore. If you can see this white and black timber building on the other side of the road, that's the second thing I said I was going to point out. That the Great Fire of London. So this is a survivor of the Great Fire. So this was built in about 1610, 1611. So 50 years before the Great Fire. And it was built as a carpet originally. And then later on it became a waxworks museum. Before Madame Tussauds became a waxworks, there was a woman called Mrs. Salmon who had a waxworks museum here that Charles Dickens would visit as a boy and he wrote right about.
You sit on the fence. You sit on the fence. You're with me.
And in good weather you can sit on a couple of bus.
Oh wow. There you go. No. It doesn't affect bus though. That's cool.
Oh, you know, somebody in costume going in there.
Wow. You can hear them. Is that what that has? Or was that someone in?
Yeah.
Or
They
got
look
it?
great.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a horse
It
right
looks
up.
official.
You've seen those guys in uniform, you've seen
I want to see the horse right up here.
Horses.
yeah.
There's a white horse in there.
Yeah.
There's a one right there.
No.
Yeah, he is. Parking suspension. Yep, film unit vehicle. Give a little light snack there.
Are they damaged? It's the first time that's ever happened to me.
So is this, what is this right here?
So this is the part of Lincoln's Chapel.
It's much different.
It's beautiful. So no lights inside there at night, huh?
Well, I wonder. It's usually better than that. I wonder whether it's no light because of the filming,
Oh yeah,
possibly.
49. Yeah, the oak room for dining. Yeah, well, yeah. Princess Louise.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, that side's out, but we'll try and get this side. Sorry, it's a tricky time here. So if you just go straight through to the end bar, it's quite again to what trying to fit everybody in.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, I have a cost.
Yeah, I mean, I might take a sip, but I'm not going to drink it.
Want to try?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes this is the end room, and sometimes you can get this room. Very unusual. Occasionally it's been empty, you can get the room. They've just
From the main section, and if you
Are you guys racing?
How do you? I guess you have to go through the.
That is good. That's like apple cider or something.
Yeah. Doesn't taste like beer.
Thursday we have flesh and pie. I was saying we were supposed to take this
You see these places all over. Yeah. That's cool. Look at all the self-service checkouts. That's pretty neat. Yeah. Very nice. They really rock the self-service over here. All right, so we have to take a right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to cross first and then take a right.
Right a bit.
Here we go, the Oak Room. So we're going to start off in the ship downstairs and see if they'll do dinner down there. Because she said that you can eat down there too, in addition to the Oak Room. So maybe they're like 2 separate places or something.
I thought dinner was,
Well, she said that you can go into the ship downstairs, if I understood her correctly.
into the ship.
Yeah, the downstairs level right here, the main entrance. Separate from this.
First floor from
Yeah, right here. For dining, is it just
I need to check because she only booked upstairs. Give me 1 second, my colleague is going to start.
okay, thank you. Oh, I already talked to
Yeah, wait.
About 15 minutes and you can see.
Okay.
Yeah? If you have anything, I'll call them back in a few and just get them to.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
And then right here.
The DLR is partially closed between Stamford Station and County Town due to planned engineering work. The London Overground is partially closed. No service between Surrey Quays and Clapham Junction due to planned engineering work. Good service on other London Underground routes, other DLR routes, other London Overground routes, and the Peninsula Line.
Red one again? Kilburn Park. Yeah, I can't remember which line it is. Okay, it's the Central Line. Central Line West. Because Piccadilly is also here, and I couldn't remember if it was Piccadilly or Central. So,
there's no.
Well,
Kilburn.
I know from the tube map that we have to go
No, I'm
west.
saying we know that because there's no Kilburn, so you have to say, well, how do I get to Kilburn? It's not listed here, so I have to.
Well, no,
somewhere.
well, we need to change. See, Bakerloo at Oxford Circus.
Yeah.
That's what we're changing. But what I'm saying is, when you look at this, you don't know like is Epping east or west? Is west whatever east or west? It doesn't tell you which direction. Yeah. So you almost have to look at the tube map to say, oh, I got to go.
And when you're looking at the tube map, is it always the right is the east, the left is the west?
Yes. So that's why I know looking at the tube map that we've got to go the western platform to get to Oxford Circus. Oh, actually, you come over here. See? This will tell you.
Change here for the Elizabeth Arlington Northern Line. This is a Central Line train to Ealing Broadway.
Get off at the next one at Oxford Circus. Tell what side it was. Our initial purchase of 50 pounds is down to about 20. So I'm going to put an extra 20 on both cards. Should be pretty simple. Yeah, we've hit the daily max. Pay with a bank card. Oh, here we go. Insert card in the reader. Where is the reader at? Oh, down here.
Oh. Touch the card on the yellow reader. Wait to complete the transaction.
Okay, now your turn. Food and wine. Open till late.
They go wherever they tell me to go.
The old internet cafe going. And there it is, Tesco. Look to the right.
Is it
why are these some places and not others?
Yeah. Well, most places have them, but not all.
We're on some, what seems like major streets with that walking tour and the
She's just walking, not paying attention.
He doesn't have the...
Well, that's why he beeped her.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the green.
Yeah, but she wasn't supposed to go yet.